everyone. Thank you for tuning in today. I'm Chloe. I'm a recruiting and diversity specialist in our Singapore Google office. Today, I'm joined by Kathy Lee, who is our regional director for Google Cloud North Asia, who is based in our Hong Kong office. Firstly, Kathy, thank you for being here and welcome.
Thank you, Chloe. Good to be here.
Great. So, Kathy, I have a range of questions to ask you. But firstly, to set the scene here, Google and Google Cloud, these are names that many may be familiar with in terms of what we do. But today is really about getting to know you a lot more on a personal and real kind of level and space. So I'm excited to talk to you today because while you're a senior leader at Google Cloud and APAC, you're also, you're humble, you're hardworking, you're very down to earth, and you're all around inspiring. So definitely looking forward to diving into more about your career journey and the impacts that you're out to make. I'm not going to give too much more of an introduction. I want to focus this on you. So, and also about you telling your story specifically. So let's kick things off with current day. Could you tell us about your current role at Google Cloud?
Sure. I've been with Google for 3 years now, and I'm managing Google Cloud's business for North Asia. And North Asia, that's for markets, China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and South Korea. So 4 completely unique markets with 3 different languages. Prior to this pandemic, I would be, on the roll all the time, traveling to different markets to meet customers and partners. It may sound tiring. In fact, it was, but I'm always pumped up when I meet customers and see Google Cloud bring the values to the customers and partners out there while we, problem solve business challenges together.
Awesome. And we'll definitely come back to more of your actual sort of day-to-day and your role at Google Cloud. But I definitely want to first touch on what your journey to Google Cloud looked like. So I know that you are very knowledgeable about the cloud industry and you've been in the cloud industry for a while now. Why did you decide to move to Google Cloud? I want to specifically know what excites you about it and what you feel sets it apart in terms of as a place to work in the cloud industry as well as a product.
Sure. In fact, I was with another cloud service provider when the recruiting team reached out. At first, to be honest, I was not sure what Google Cloud does. So I study, I watch a lot of YouTube videos about Google Cloud and to learn what it does. And during that process, I get to learn the technology differentiations that Google Cloud can bring. It's in fact not just infrastructure, as service for cloud. It is bringing what Google does its best, through Google Cloud to the customers out there. Think about the data analytics capabilities or machine learning AI capabilities. That's pretty fascinating. But during the interview process, in fact, I found Google Cloud or Google, has more, differentiations from a cultural perspective. I was so impressed with the Google culture that I've experienced even during interview. But of course, after I joined Google Cloud, I realized that the combined value that we as a company can bring to the customers and partners out there. We're not just a technology provider. In fact, the combined Android ads, YouTube Maps, we can approach our customers with the One Google solutions and to help them solve their business challenges. This is pretty fascinating to me.
Definitely. And I think you were even touching on there some of the things that you found surprising while you were interviewing versus kind of how it is now. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. What were some other preconceived ideas or beliefs that you had about Google Cloud before while you were interviewing versus what it's like now and how that maybe has been surprising for you?
Yeah, so I well understood that Google Cloud was the underdog in the cloud industry before I joined. And obviously, we need to catch up. And it was exactly what I expected to do. That's to build and to grow. I was very happy to see the two things, around the employees as well as the company. I mentioned about culture. And what I mean by culture is the experiences that I have, to see the willingness that team members, the Googlers that I've interacted, that were so keen to make changes and to help each other, for the better of you know of the customers, right? And as for the company, I was thrilled to see that the resources investment that we have in just building the teams, doing things right, for the customers and partners, including the cloud region setups or the ecosystem built out.
Yes, and I know that honestly, Kathy, you and I can talk endlessly about Google Cloud. So I would definitely want to chat more also about your career journey. So, firstly, I think anyone can look at your LinkedIn. They can very much see your career trajectory and your career journey. But what I'm interested to know more about is the risks that you took in your career. How have you felt that those choices have been impactful, and how have they defined you to the person you are today and where you are currently at in your career?
Looking back at my career, I would say that I took a lot of risks. But luckily, these risks paid off as a reflection. But to be honest, during that moment, a lot of the moments I wasn't sure. But there was one principle that I follow all along is to follow my heart and ask myself where my passion lies, and make some tough decisions. And for example, many years ago, I made a bold decision to move to China, without my family. And during that time, to me, that was a risky decision, and I was very uncomfortable with all the uncertainties. But today it turned out to be okay.
Yeah, and I would say that doing anything that like that, right? Making that big move and doing those things that make you feel very uncertain and almost a little bit worried. I think I would love to know, how do you, in those moments, how do you work through that uncertainty?
I actually would ask myself, am I happy? Am I happy with the status quo? And even though the unknown is challenging or is not favorable, but then I would really just follow my instinct and make the decision, be willing to step out of my comfort zone. Again, staying uncomfortably exciting is the main theme.
Oh, that's really inspiring, and it's also refreshing to hear. So let's talk about your team. I wanted to jump back to your team. I know you're very proud of the team that you have and the work that the magic that they make happen. So can you tell us more about that?
Well, I am very proud to say that my North Asia team is a hardworking team, with the builder mindset. So when I first joined Google Cloud 3 years ago, um, I only have 14 members, and it was just a small team. And I'm so pleased to see the pace and the growth that we were able to deliver as a sub-region, North Asia. We have sales, pre-sales, post-sales, a well-structured team, and we're still growing and delivering outstanding performance, driving growth, and building solid relationship with the customers and partners to help them make use of Google Cloud to solve their business challenges and be happy customers of Google Cloud.
Oh, that's great. And Kathy, I think I can really hear the passion and the enthusiasm that you have for your team. So when we talk about Google's mission and how that translates over to Google Cloud, I mean, the mission is the same. We build for everyone, and You earlier also touched a lot on our culture as well. And I think even when we look at our Google mission, diversity, equity, and inclusion, these are very much at the core and the heart of our mission. And we talk about this a lot. We invest in a lot at Google, and I know you're very involved as well. So I would love to hear your views on why is this important for Google Cloud now and moving forward, and specifically, why is it important to you personally?
Well, we wanted to make sure as we're building our business, we're growing our organization that's aligned with the company's culture, right? To drive diversity, equity, and inclusion with our fast growing organization. So I was given the opportunity as the leader for North Asia, and I wanted to be the advocate and champion to ensure that everyone else has the same experience. I mean, this is personally very important to me because I had, bad experiences in my career where I was not even given the chance to go for new opportunities, despite me being the top performer on my team. It was really this empowering, and it was also difficult because I was often the only woman on my teams. Being that I've always worked in the IT companies, you know how that goes, right? So this was a personal experience on why diversity, equity, and inclusion are so important to me. We need to build diverse teams. We need to understand that not everyone are at the same starting point, and we need to be constantly ensuring that we're creating an environment where everyone can contribute and thrive.
I love that. And you said something specific there too about advocating and championing. So, can you tell me a little bit more about that? What does that look like for you tangibly in your role?
Sure. All three, diversity, equity, and inclusion are very important. And it's been really remarkable to see just how invested we as an organization are. I see a lot of passion and actions. So many teams work to make the difference here and to ensure it's truly baked in everything we do. We have a global diversity, equity, and inclusion team, while we also have like regional councils at the regional levels that regional executives would own and drive, these three focuses, and with different work streams that we have, at the APAT level on specifically hiring, progression, and inclusion. So I've been like personally spending a lot of focus on two areas. Of course, the first one would be as a leader for North Asia. It's important that I need to partner with my recruiting team to ensure that we are thoughtful in building the North Asia team, especially we're growing so fast and doing hiring all the time. And we need to make sure that we are building a diverse team, to make sure that our teams can reflect, of that mission, right? And of course, secondly, I'm very actively involved in contributing and leading the Women at Google Cloud group in APAC, as well as driving the progression initiatives under the APAC Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Initiative. So there's a lot of Googlers involved, and these initiatives are important to ensure that Google Cloud is the place where everyone can thrive in their careers.
Amazing. I think that's a brilliant note to cap off this conversation. Kathy, thank you so much for your time and your sharing. You've walked us through your career journey, your thoughts on Google Cloud, and the ways in which you seamlessly integrate diversity, equity, inclusion into your role. So, lastly, thank you so much for your authenticity throughout our conversation. I've really appreciated it and enjoyed it so much. Thank you, Kathy.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you, Chloe.